This is a letter I got from somebody who knows and understands why it's so hard for ex-workers to tell about their experience. And I'm just going to read it like they wrote it. It kind of broke my heart a bit. The reasons why ex-workers don't talk about their experience in the work might be just plain wrong to varying degrees. Nonetheless, these might be the attitudes and beliefs for why they don't speak about it. Saying that which is of Christ is really the devil is the unforgivable sin, the sin of blasphemy. We are taught to be very, very careful when attributing things to the devil, especially where the truth is concerned, because you may be committing blasphemy. This story about where Miriam and Aaron spoke against Moses and were relegated for days without the camp, isolated. That was a grievous thing to do. We don't want to speak against those who God has chosen to lead. Uncertainty about the rightness of how we feel about certain things, not trusting our own feelings about things. We have not been allowed to think and have our own feelings from infancy. For most of us, to think for ourselves, to trust our gut, is foreign and not a good thing. We are seriously split. We felt certain ways inside but couldn't believe the truth of how we felt, since it went against the 2x2 way. No one else felt like that. So something must be wrong with me. And this is where severe depression came from. So we for sure wouldn't speak of it to anyone else. Anyone else who spoke of it too must certainly be wrong or unwilling. So we were afraid of speaking to them about it and didn't respect them, or we were afraid of them or the way they felt. It scared us and we didn't know what to do with all those feelings. So squashed them down and ignored them. The usual is to put our emotions in neutral, be numb and paralyzed. That's how we can stay in our place. Just separate the uncomfortable things in a dark compartment, never to look at it or feel it again. Otherwise, we will be taking our own way and wander away into everlasting fire. So, because it is the way we have operated for so long, it is very hard to act and speak in any different way, indeed to see any other way. Peter was rebuked by Jesus, "Get thou behind me, Satan." If we speak up, we cannot have our emotions respected or validated. Quite the opposite. We become reviled and of no consequence. The giving of our life was for nothing. 2x2s do not respect dissenting thoughts or beliefs. In fact, quite the opposite. Conformity is unity in their minds. Nonconformity is sin, being deceived, being unwilling, taking your own way, and this is entirely driven by shame. A calamity, the end of life as we knew it. Workers are to the extreme of this, and especially from the first day in the work. In fact, to be accepted into the work, you must be willing for anything. No complaining. You do not have feelings or any opinions of your own. From that lowly beginning place, future overseers are chosen, groomed, I think. New workers are like bees, some destined to be worker bees, some destined to be queens. Or like stem cells, some become cardiac tissue, some brain tissue, some muscle tissue, and some the anus. The pawns are the baby and middle-aged workers used by those in charge and loved by all. They keep it all going. Everyone loves and trusts them unconditionally, and that gives the overseers free rein to do or not to do as they please, and they stay in the background and do their worst from afar without any accountability. General lack of clarity and courage, general shame for questioning, not conforming, Maybe for being deceived yourself, like an elderly person feels shamed for being conned out of their life savings, and they can hardly tell anyone what happened. Shame for not continuing, for being a quitter. The enormity of this feeling is a travesty. I just heard a story the other day about a very elderly worker who could not be comfortable with quitting at something like 94 years of age and in terrible health. Workers know better than anybody the scorn, the secret things said and felt and thought about people who turn aside, especially workers who turn aside. They are worse than reprobates. Workers know more than anybody about the excommunication and shunning that happens. And workers more than anybody have a lot to lose, have almost no friends outside the 2x2s, no career, no skills, etc., no family, etc. If they are known as reprobates, the only people they know still in will have nothing to do with them, and many because of fear and peer pressure. It's better just to go quietly away, not raising a ruckus. They feel lost, shameful, defeated, powerless, confused, condemned, and like losers. If they haven't seen clearly the evil of the 2x2 system, it is difficult to see very far ahead, or the possibilities for their own lives, that there is hope of happiness and normalcy ahead. It is hard to have a vision of power over their own lives, and a possibility of a good situation ahead for them. The feeling of having inside dirt that might be somebody's human failing shouldn't be used to discredit the way, the truth. This is connected to the saying, the way is perfect, the people aren't. To gossip is a no-no, is very shameful, and so people cannot and do not speak the truth about things. When told of the birth of the baby Jesus, Mary kept these things inside herself and waited to see what would develop. This is what many people do when considering things that are happening now. They keep their thoughts private. That old saying, hate what God hates, love what God loves, that is used to wrongly motivate the 2x2s. They cannot see at all that God might hate what is happening in the 2x2s. Hating the 2x2 way is a horrible sin for them. They cannot conceive of hating what the 2x2s are all about and speaking out against it. Isn't that ironic? Pretty heartbreaking piece of someone's heart and mind. The vulnerability was astonishing to me.